Okay. So Vinicius, Alexander, Violet, Matthew, Kemposanam. Okay. Okay, Lindsay's here. Okay, so we go to the insert for mind training on precious human birth, that one, disturbing the sleep of ignorance. Okay. Do you have that? Disturbing the sleep of ignorance. So as you wake up, then you visualize that Guru Rinpoche with the Dakas and Dakinis holding Dhammarus and bells in their hand and melodiously play music, and then you wake up. And in the Guru Yoga, we remember that the array or the environment of our innate being is the copper colored pure land of Guru Rinpoche. So ourselves as Vajra Yogini, and then seeing all environment as pure realms. That is how you need to wake up. So not like like a sloth, and then thinking, oh, I'm in a that old place all the time. Unlike that, thinking that you are now awakening to the pure realm, and then you read this prayer in melody. Kemai ke hui kalden rike mbo mare timo wange manem. Zendro ngarke datara yarlong dan tome dune dala toke. Mare wange nilyun de choi ke dane madel gosum gela. Kega na che dunga mishe sam de ring zamya en tabe go ga. Drub lai tsundru ike be de lai bai de re chek pue ten de drub de. Nyom le ngang la he de be du ma yin chi we som lai drub lai taru. Tselai long me chicken some me chai de tse me tsere dengje manto no. Ke boy kene sembe jeje ron che nam da me tongje che dan. Chumai mi ju me lam zonen dan jeze donkere da cha da bur. Chundan chumburu mi yoro chumba so sheja jume pechu de jindo. Konde chenam keke shebarage chenam ranjin kewa me ba. Ne me game dro me ba o me me tsema me chen samje. Tende tombara jawe de la ba. Namo Guru Be, Namo Deva Be, Namo Daki Be. Okay, back to page 1. O alas, alas, fortunate child of Buddha nature, do not be oppressed by the forces of ignorance and delusion, but rise up now with resolve and courage. Entranced by ignorance from beginningless time until now, you have had more than enough time to sleep. Do not slumber any longer, but strive after virtue with body, speech, and mind. Are you oblivious to the suffering of birth, old age, sickness, and death? There is no guarantee that you will survive even past this very day. The time has come for you to develop perseverance in your practice. For at this singular opportunity, you could attain the everlasting bliss of nirvana. So now is certainly not the time to sit idly, but starting with the reflection on death, you should bring your practice to completion. The moments of our life are not expendable, and the possible circumstances of death are beyond imagination. If you do not achieve an undaunted confident security now, what point is there in your being alive, O living being? All phenomena are ultimately selfless, empty, and free from conceptual elaboration. In their dynamic, they resemble an illusion, mirage, dream, or reflected image. A celestial city, an echo, a reflection of the moon in water. A bubble, an optical illusion, or an intangible emanation. You should know that all things of cyclic existence and nirvana accord in nature with these 10 similes of illusory phenomena. All phenomena are true, naturally unborn. They neither abide nor cease, neither come nor go. They are without objective referent, signless, ineffable, and free from thought. The time has come for this truth to be realized. Homage to the Lama, homage to the Idam, homage to the Dakini. Homage to the Lama, homage to the Idam, homage to the Dakini. So, in this way, you wake up. As you wake up, then you pose your posture, sitting in the 7 Vairocana posture. So sitting in the Vajra posture, legs in Vajra posture. Your hands in the meditative gesture like this, your right hand on top of the left, and the thumbs touching gently like that. And your body not bent forward or leaning back, just straight, and your spine kind of coin stacked together like that. And your head not looking up in the sky, nor kind of bent down, but just kind of slightly you tuck your chin in like that. And your gaze, just lowering your gaze on the tip of your nose, and your tongue touching the roof of your mouth or your palate like that. And your shoulders expanded, or shoulders not like scooped down like that. So just relax like that. So that's the posture of the body. And then now you do the expelling of the stale wind. So to do this, you have to have the Vajra fist. And then you visualize the 3 channels in your body. The center channel called Avadhuti, which is blue in color, the size of your ring finger. In your left channel, for men it is, sorry, for your right channel, for men it is white. For women it is red. For the left channel for male it is red. For women it is white. So just that one. So the center channel is called Uma. The right channel is called Roma. The left channel is called Changma. And the two side channels are half the size of the center channel. They extend a little bit longer than the navel, a little bit longer than the navel. The center channel ends right here at the navel, like that. Oh, sorry, 4 fingers below your navel. Your center channels end here. And then the left two channels extend a little bit longer than the center channel. And the center channel opens here at the crown like that. Or at this time, you can also visualize that the opening is here, right at the between your brows. And your left channel and right channel come like this, like an umbrella handle, and then comes and ends here at each of the nostrils. So like that. And then you make your Vajra fist. This resembles 5-prong Vajra or 3-prong Vajra. So like that. Either like this or like that is permissible. And the back of your hands, this one, back of your wrist, you press this, the joint of your hip and your thigh, and you stretch your arms. Don't look like so. And then yesterday we did that one. So what you do is you plug your right nostril like that, and then you breathe in through your left. It was yesterday I was just gesturing, but you can just do it the simple way. So you breathe in. As you breathe in through your left nostril, you breathe in, and then whatever is there in your left channel, there here is the desire. The left channel is inserted on your left. The left channel is inserted on your right channel. And then you breathe out. So that you had it like this. And then you can just kind of go like so. Not too forceful, kind of gentle in the beginning. Like that. Now, trade hands or exchange hands. Now you plug your left nostril and then you breathe in through your right. At this time, all mental afflictions, diseases, and the negative energy in your body, this is anger. So leaves your body through your left nostril. Again, similarly like that, not too forceful. Now both your hands on the joint here. Then you breathe in through both your nostrils. And this time, both the channels are inserted in your center channel. And you force out the mental afflictions of ignorance, the negative energy or the negative force of the naga, and all diseases related to that one. Like that. So again, you breathe in through your left. This time a little bit forceful. Okay, change hands. Breathe in through your right nostril. Keep the visualizations going. Okay, through both your nostrils. Visualize. Okay, now the third cycle. Again, softer this time. Not as, just like when we began, like that when we began. Change hands. Keep the visualization. Okay, breathe in through both your nostrils. Breathe out. When you breathe out the third time, when both the channels are inserted in your center channel, you visualize that's leaving through here between your brows, like that. The first time you visualize, it's the desire living in the form of red rooster. Second time, it's your anger living out from your body. So the first one would be living out through your right nostril, because you plug the right nostril, you breathe in through your left, and then you breathe out through your right. So the red rooster goes out. So the second time when you do that, you plug your left nostril and you breathe in through your right. That's related to your anger. Now lives in the form of a black snake. And then when you do the third time through both your nostril, the mental affliction is ignorance, so lives through your brows here in the form of gray pig, like that. So the channels are blue, white for male, red for female, left, red for male, and white for female. So as you do this, then the channels become more and more vibrant. And then finally on the third breath, you visualize your body is just like a crystal clear vase. So it's just like we say rinsing or cleaning your bowl or a utensil or vessel, so that whatever you pour inside now becomes the nectar is contained there, uncontaminated by any poison or any other defects, like that. So that is now the posture of your body. And then finally, you breathe in one time. Like that. Then you let go gently. You can kind of rub like this and then put your hands here. Like that. And then rest your hands here like that. And then now you do the Vajra breathing. Yesterday the sequence was kind of a little bit out of order, but then as you breathe it, you breathe in Om, Ah, Hum, like that. Even if you don't recite the mantras, you can just kind of So like that, you do about 21 times, 7 times or 21 times like that. So for now, just that we are doing it in the beginning. So we're just gonna do like 3-4 times like that. So and then so that's the Vajra breathing, the state of your body, the state of your energy, and like that. And then now you visualize, you call on your Lama. So now you can go to the Longchen Nyingthig text, the illumination of the path of omniscience. So on page 2, here are the stages of the preliminaries of Dzogchen Chenpo Longchen Nyingthig and how to put them into daily practice. First of all, at dawn, when it's time to wake up, visualize in front of you in the sky your root Lama in the aspect of Guru Ugad Norje Chang, encircled by powers and khandromas, meaning dakas and dakinis. They play damarus held in their hands, and the melodious sound of the mantras invoking blessings wake you up. As you wake up, you should clearly visualize the natural arrangement of the Pure Land and your body as the deity. The Lama abiding in your heart rises up through your central channel and delightfully sits on the crown of your head. And then you chant now the blessings of the speech first. Om Ahum Chewan Ramye Le Join Me Se Ne Maranambe Dorje Tse Sombo Ali Kali Thagoro Tendeni Mute Chenwa Tabu Yigdule Yetre Gyawa Seche Chebene Lardu Ngagdrev Dane Sondorje Jinlai Ngedro Manlu To Barai Juro. Okay, read that in English. Om Ahum. Fire rising from Ram syllable consumes my tongue, transforming it into a three-pronged Vajra of red light. In its center are the vowels and consonants, surrounded by the mantra, the essence of interdependent origination. From these syllables, like a string of pearls, light rays stream out, making offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, pleasing them. As these rays return, all obscurations of my speech are purified, and I receive all the blessings and siddhi of Vajra speech. Then the vowels and consonants, you recite them. A, I, U, R, R, E, I, O, Au, Anga, Ha, Ka, Ka, Ga, Ga, Nga, Cha, Cha, Ja, Ja, Na, Da, Ta, Da, Da, Na, Ta, Ta, Da, Da, Na. Pa, Pa, Bha, Ba, Ma, Ya, Ra, La, Wa, Sha, Sa, Sa, Ha, Cha. Om Ye Dharma, Hetu, Prabhava, Hetunte, Shanta, Tha, Gato, Haya, Wa, Data. Te Shanchayo Nirhodaya Vamvadi Maha Shramana Swaha A I U Re Lili E I O Angaha Kaka Gaganga Cha 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 Jana Data Dadana Tata Dadana Papa Baba Mayara Lawa Shasa Saha Cha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetunte Shantata Gato Haya Wadata Te Shanchayo Nirhodaya Vamvadi Maha Shramana Swaha Re I O Angaha Kaka Gaganga Cha 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 Jana Tata Dadana Tata Dadana Papa Bhaba Mayara Lawa Shasa Saha Cha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetunte Shantatha Gato Haya Vadata Te Shanchayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashramana Swaha Re I O Angaha Kaka Gaganga Chacha Jajana Tata Dadana Tata Dadana Papa Baba Mayara Lawa Shasa Saha Cha Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetun teshan tatha gato haya vadatta teshan chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramana swaha. A I U re re li li e I o au angaha kaka gaganga cha cha ja jana ta ta da da na. Tata dhadana papa bhavama yara lava shasa saha cha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetun teshan tatha gato haya vadatta teshan chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramana swaha. A re re li li e I o au angaha kaka gaganga cha 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 jana ta ta da da na ta ta da da na papa bhavama. Yara lava shasa saha cha om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetun teshan tatha gato haya vadatta teshan chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramana swaha. Re re le le e I o au angaha kaka ghaganga cha 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 jana ta ta da da na ta ta da da na papa baba. Yara lava shasa saha cha om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetun teshan tata gato haya vadatta teshan chayo nirodha evam vadi maha sharmana soha. So you also should learn the visualization, the light from the mantra, from this tongue, turning into golden Vajra, this red Vajra, sorry, three prong. This light rays go out. There are different uh, commentaries on lights, like from the vowels, white light, from the consonants, red lights, and then from the interdependent mantra, a red light, sometimes blue light like that, but doesn't matter. So you can just do um, white light from the vowels, which are the 16 vowels, a, I, U, and then consonants are ka, ka, ga, ga, nga, cha, cha, ja, ja, na, red light. And then the interdependent mantra in yellow light. You can go like that. And then further on, later on, we'll learn how they're set and then which way they rotate and so forth. But for now, it's okay. So like that, the light going out, making offerings, and on the tip of each light rays, there are offering goddesses presenting different kinds of offerings. So all multitude, kind of infinite, countless offerings are made to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And these offerings invoke the wisdom speech blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions as this light return and then enters into your tongue, and then your now tongue is blessed with Vajra speech. So think like that. Then we'll talk more about these visualization and the power, why we need to do this and so forth. And the main thing is that as we begin here, today is the second day, each of these elements have inconceivable power. So uh, these are not just like adornments or something like that. These are very uh, powerful elements of each and every elements of our practice are very, very important. So do the visualizations, try the visualizations as clearly as possible, and then do it sincerely or concentrated and correctly like that. So now then you visualize from your center channel here. Of course, the instruction is saying you visualize as the Lama is coming out in the sky, along with the dakas and dakinis with the damarus and bells and musics and so forth like that. But what you're doing here is now the Lama that was in your heart, as you call, the Lama starts to rise up from your central channel and then sits here on your crown. So go to page 13, Calling the Llama from Afar. Here we have Lama Ken No, so you don't have to say no there. Lama Ken, Lama Ken. So there are three calling Lama, think of me, Lama, think of me. So the first Lama When you say Lama Keno the first time, you're invoking the Lama, so the Lama comes out through your central channels and rises up. The second Lama Keno, when the Lama think of me, then you are saying, oh, I the miserable one, that all this time that I had wandered in samsara, please gaze with your great compassion like that. So then we now reflect why we need the Lama. We reflect the outer qualities of the Lama is important, that in order for the Lama to bestow the blessings, we are invoking the Lama. And third Lama, Lama Keno or Lama, think of me. Then the inner Lama is our own mindfulness and awareness. So we are bringing that. Let my mindfulness, awareness be vigilant or be there all the time. So this is what we're invoking. So think like that. For now, it's okay. So just Lama ke Lama ke Lama ke Nyingthig pe gesar she pa ne chang che den chen lama yar ala jing Chiu le dan nyen mo da pu zir wa yi ke wa nyen ba da la cho pe che Chiu de che con lo gen du shu gen da shi jin kun cha shen su se. O Lama, please think of me. O Lama, please think of me. O Lama, please think of me. From the blossoming lotus of devotion at the center of my heart, arise, O kind Lama, my only refuge. In order to protect me, the miserable, unfortunate one, who is overwhelmingly tormented by karma and mental afflictions, I pray that you remain as the jewel ornament on the crown chakra of great bliss, arousing all of my mindfulness and awareness. So, like that, Lama rises up, and now the Lama is in front of you on top of your crown chakra, like that. So, this is how you go about all through your day. So, when we are meditating, the Lama is on our crown. When um, we say the support for our blessings. When we walk around, the Lama is on our shoulder. So, and then when we eat, the Lama is on our throat. And then when we sleep, the Lama is in our heart, like that. So, and then further on here, this is the Lama calling from afar that Kimbong Akchung used to read. This is from Viman Nyingthig. I think yesterday I said Lama Nyingthig, but I think this is from Viman Nyingthig. Anyway. The Zoom Zange Tham Chegi Ngo Kuchi Dani Balden Lama Damba La Sewa De So Dala Wangkuru Chenje Laptu Se Sablangi Toba Ke Barajen Jula Ke Wara Chenje Laptu Se Kada nilu ki tawa tobara jinje labdu se lundu naji yeshe tarjim bara jinge labdu sun. I fervently supplicate to the glorious sacred Lama, the essence of all the Buddhas of the three times, the embodiment of the four kayas. I pray that you grant me blessings and empowerments. I pray that you bless me so that the extraordinary realization of the profound path arises in me. I pray that you bless me to realize the view of the primordial purity of the abiding nature. I pray that you bless me to perfect the wisdom of the four visions of spontaneous presence. I fervently supplicate to the glorious sacred Lama, the essence of all the Buddhas of the three times, the embodiment of the four kayas. I pray that you grant me blessings and empowerments. I pray that you bless me so that the extraordinary realization of the profound path arises in me. I pray that you bless me to realize the view of the primordial purity of the abiding nature. I pray that you bless me to perfect the wisdom of the four visions of spontaneous presence. So, as you supplicate in this way, then you need to bring forth the intention of how you practice. Yesterday, before we closed our session, I forgot a few things today that I will go through later. And when we come to the end of our session, you have to actually reflect what was my intention when I began my session? What did I think? Why did I practice? What was my thought or my intention, like that? So our intentions, we need to cultivate. There are intentions that we need to abandon, intentions that we need to change. So like that. Negative intentions are what we need to abandon. Neutral intentions, meaning indeterminate or, how do you say, neutral, like, yes, insensitive, no intentions. You're just doing it because it's some kind of fashion or some kind of like that, or some kind of trend or so like that. So it's just like no intention. You have no aspiration toward virtue and so forth. These are also classified into non-virtuous intention. So you should not live at that. Rather, your intention should now be transformed or changed into virtuous intention, like that. So in intention, there are what are called as the lesser intention, the mediocre intention, and the supreme or the greater intention, like that. So we'll talk more about that, but main thing is that we need to think that we are practicing in order to bring forth the attainment of Buddhahood for all motherly sentient beings, not just for ourselves, but for all motherly sentient beings. This determines whether our practice is of the supreme vehicle or the great vehicle and so forth. Devoid of this intention, even if we might be reading the highest teachings of Dzogpa Chenpo or great perfection whatsoever, it will not bring us Buddhahood because it's not even close to bodhicitta. So you should always remember that our intention, why am I doing this? Am I doing it for worldly gain? Those are all wrong intentions. Am I just doing this in order to take higher birth in samsara? That's also not the right intention. You need to abandon those. Is my intention just to achieve nirvana in samsara or nirvana? That is also not the right intention. Earlier in the prayer of disturbing the slumber of ignorance, there was this saying, intending to achieve nirvana. That's not the right intention. We need to change the language in those prayers. So um, if we pray like that, if you are intending to achieve nirvana, that's not the goal of our practice. We are intending to transcend the two extremes, the extremes of samsara, which is suffering, the extreme of nirvana, which is peace. We are transcending both those extremes and to attain the non-abiding state of the perfect and complete Buddhahood. So our intention should be like that. If the intention is not there, then we can say we are just fooling ourselves. So therefore, this mind training is so powerful because, we check this over and over again. Every time, every session that we do, we need to check, what is my intention? If you have any kind of attachment to samsara, then that's not a spiritual practice as described here in the teachings. So when we can term here our spiritual practice, but meaning dharma. And then if you have any attachment toward yourself, just for your selfish thought and so forth, then that's not bodhicitta. And without bodhicitta, there is no Buddhahood. So therefore, always remember, what is my intention? Why am I practicing this? So then we say, in order to bring all motherly sentient beings to the state of perfect Buddhahood. So when we're doing this mind training, it's also good that you go ahead during your daytime and read the passage of how we cultivate the understanding of all sentient beings being our mother. It's important. So when we say, may all sentient beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering, may sentient beings have happiness, and so on and so forth. Just the words doesn't really take effect. If you practice just like that, then we just get into the habit of not really understanding or meaning what we are doing. So therefore, when we practice, we pick from our mother of this life, our father of our parents of this life, like that. So then we have one or two like that, and then slowly from there, then our like brothers and sisters, our family, like that, and then further from our maternal family or paternal family, and further on like that, and we expand like that. So it's not just living onto the word, like saying, may all sentient beings, and then there is no feeling at all. So in order to have this take effect, that's why we need to intend sincerely that, like how I wish my mother attained the state of Buddhahood. How wonderful it would be that our practice is now connected with the wish, my desire. My wish is to see my mother attain Buddhahood. Have that state where there's no suffering whatsoever, like that. And then you have the, may she achieve that state of perfect and complete Buddhahood, that your practice connected with aspiration. In order for my mother to achieve the state of perfect and complete Buddhahood, I myself will exert, I myself will persevere, I myself will toil, I myself will conduct in this practice. So then that's the connection through your vow, your commitment. And then you say, although I don't have the power now to establish my mother to the state of perfect and complete Buddhahood, I pray and I invoke the blessings and the wisdom of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that she will surely achieve the state of perfect and complete Buddhahood. That is now what we say as connected through supplication or through fervent prayers, like that. These things are very, very important. So in these mind training, all of these things are not just written there, just for us to read, but for us to cultivate each and every aspect of this practice, so that the essence of why we practice Dharma is there. So if you don't do this, all of these things are left out, it's missed. So therefore we need to do this. So first of all, yesterday I didn't have time to talk about that, but today cultivate that intention sincerely from your heart, like whatever I do, I'm doing it in order to bring all motherly sentient beings to the state of perfect and complete Buddhahood, like that. And that makes our practice the Buddha path. Otherwise, if you don't have that, you can fool yourself by saying, I'm practicing this practice, that higher practice, and so forth. It will not bring the fruit, for sure. So that's why it's very, very important. Okay, having said that, now our mind training, this 100-day mind training, is a little bit kind of complicated because, we are doing 4 days that will equalize to 1 day of mind training, because if you read the chart or if you read the calendar, you see that a day consists of 4 sessions. Each sessions consists of 2.5 hours or 3 hours, like that. So yesterday was our first 3 hours of the first session. So now is the second session. Tomorrow will be the third session. Then day after will be the fourth session, which will equalize to 1 day, 1 full day of the mind training. So during the sessions, when it is done, like 4 sessions a day, then in the morning you open the prayers and all of those, and then in the second session you don't have to rewind all the way to the top. You actually go to directly to the supplication, and then you again read the passages of this mind training. For example, say the intention, or you want to understand why we need to practice this in order to bring all motherly sentient beings to the state of perfect Buddhahood. And then in order to do that, how do we look at our relationship with all sentient beings? We say to understand all sentient beings are our parents. And then realizing their kindness. How would we say? Recollecting their kindness. And then thirdly, repaying in order to repay their kindness, and so forth. There are so many things. So those things you can read. So it's never too early to read those. So you can read that. So you can read through the thing. And also in there is the preparation of the sessions and so forth. When you wake up in the morning, if you need to blow your nose or go to the restroom and so on and so forth, whatever needs to be done before the session, be done, so that you don't need to move from your cushions when you do that, and so forth are there. And likewise, there are other elaborations and so forth. We will talk slowly like that. So main thing is that let us all receive the blessings of the practice. We're not here to collect information or ideas like that. It is, like we were saying, just this factor of cultivating that altruistic intention makes our practice the Buddha path, like that. The mind training, many people just forsake this, thinking that this is just the ABC or unnecessary. But without this, everybody struggles. Every practitioner struggles. As I told you, that what is the obstacle? Who is the obstacle? Is our only mind. And if our mind is laden with all of this kind of unnecessary baggages, surely it will have obstacles and hindrances and so forth. So therefore, mind training is very, very important. So let us all aspire that we will do this practice, this 100-day retreat practice, thoroughly, as in our prayer disturbing the slumber of ignorance. Let us use this one lifetime to achieve Buddhahood. You might think, oh, this life, I want to use it for fun and so forth. We have we have had many lifetimes. Maybe for sure, we were one time the greatest and powerful king in this universe, like that. But that did not last. We plunged in the deepest hell and so forth. We escaped from inconceivable, miserable existences and so forth. And finally, we achieved this fortunate, precious human birth. So let us not waste it. So please think like that. And this is one opportunity that we are not going to find hereafter. So think like that. And then, encourage yourself, remind yourself, alert yourself that this is important. Now, am I wasting my time by just doing this prayer, just doing this practice and so forth? Think carefully, and then you will understand the importance, the preciousness of why this needs to be done. Okay, think like that. So, having said that, in the second session of the mind training, so like in time, it is like, from the cock crowing, the crowing of the cock, in the ancient times, they didn't have time, watch and so forth. So it was timed like saying when the rooster kind of crows, and then from there to the break of dawn, when the sun kind of hits behind the mountain, and you can see the orange or the golden rays rising from that, is like the first session. And then immediately you do your other activities of the session once you break that session, and making tea or breakfast, or then there are also other Dhamma activities. We'll talk about all of these in future, if we have time like that. And then immediately after those are done, then you resume for your second session. And when you do a second session, again, these three things: your intention, meaning your preparation of how it is done, and then you are you bring in mind like the cultivating your motivation, and then how you engage in this one. All those are done exactly the same. The session preparation, the session conclusions are all done in that same way. And the main sessions too, you read, you rest in analytical meditation, and then you rest during analytical meditation. When you get the chill, as I told you, that I'm wasting my human life, I should be practicing Dhamma, then immediately think of your Lama, Guru Rinpoche there, and all the refuge, the lineage Lamas, and then you supplicate, grant me the blessings that I will realize, I bring forth the achievement of the Dharma, the essence of Dharma, like that. So you supplicate like that, not just mindlessly doing that. And then when you get that, that is the time when you have that sincere feeling in your heart that you can actually feel the importance of why we need to practice Dharma at that time. Then when you think of the Lama, then you can actually see the wisdom qualities of the Lama like that. And that is also one of the reasons why we visualize the Lama in the form of Guru Rinpoche, or you could also visualize in the form of Buddha Shakyamuni and so forth. In the Guru Yoga practice, it is mentioned like that, but here in our case, it's always Guru Rinpoche like that. So if you just visualize your Lama in the form of an ordinary person, unless you had like undaunted faith and devotion, then your faith would never waver. You'd always see your Lama as perfect, whatever he does, as flawless and so forth. But human beings lack that. So in order for those things not to happen, that's why we visualize our Lama in the form of Guru Rinpoche, so that we are inspired, that we can generate our fervent faith and devotion toward our Lama. So like that. So then in the end of our sessions, there are three things that we say. Speculating, or how would you say, examining, how did I do my session? Was I distracted? Did I do it correctly, or I didn't do it correctly? And all of those elements, did I do it correctly, and so forth. So there is a speculation, there's an examination. You ponder. It's called chepa, meaning how did I do it? You examine. And then if you did anything wrong, if you made mistakes and so forth, you confess. Like that. And then if you did anything virtue, then you dedicate. So these three things, always remember that. Examination, confession, dedication. That's what you need to remember, like that. So read the manual of My Words of My Perfect Teacher later, and then not just like reading a newspaper, but read and then chew every word, every bits and pieces of those instructions, that it is embedded or that kind of strikes the essence. So do like that. Okay, so that, having said that, again, what I'm saying is that we have the good fortune because we are doing it every brand new day. So we get to do the Ngondro all the way from the beginning till the end. So that's like a plus side for us. So we get to do the Nyingthig Ngondro all the way. In the 100-day mind training, there are different lineages. There are different lineages. Some, they just, after the invocation of the Lama, then they, for the mind training, for example, now we are here reflecting on how difficult it is to obtain or attain this precious human body. Then go to page 17. So they would just do from this line, from 17 to all the way till 18. That's all. That first passage, because in there summarizes the 8 freedoms, and then in order for you to understand that one, then you supplicate to the Guru. Okay, so like that, it's done. But for the style that I was taught, then we do all the way from the opening of the session all the way down to the 4 empowerments, and then finally receiving the 4 empowerments, then you go back to whichever session that you are doing the mind training. So we'll do that way. Okay. Okay, today we'll recite in English. So we're on page 17. Page 17. Please recite, don't skip, recite. As you recite, bring, uh, comprehend and bring the meaning in your mind. That. Okay. Let's see. Okay. We're on Longchen Nyingthig Wondro, okay? That's my translation. We're on page 17. We go all the way down to the four empowerments. So there are so many things to talk about this one. This is, we might think this is like the basic practice, or we say foundation, but actually this is the how this path unfolds. In the beginning, it becomes a foundation. Later, it becomes the path, and eventually, or ultimately, it becomes the result. That's why it's called the, you know, the inconceivable dharma. That as our mind takes different dimension, or a different manifests its dimension, then what is there truly manifests. The true nature is there all the time, but because our mind was obscured, it only saw what it thought it was seeing. But the true nature is, it's always there, originally pure, pervasively encompassed with equality, spontaneous presence, like that. And when our mind kind of shreds off all of those defilements and delusion and so forth, what's there is manifest, is revealed and experienced. That's Dharma, that's the practice. So, like that, don't think that, oh, Kempo now took us back to kindergarten, you know, don't think like that. This is the essential practice. You need to do that. And yeah, that's what, let's go to page 17. And once again, in order to, I'll have this passage tomorrow, that you have to say that in order to bring all motherly sentient beings boundless as space, to establish to the state of perfect and complete Buddhahood, I will engage in this the mind training practice. So like that, think like that. So the words can differ, but the intention is important. So okay, having cultivated that intention, so page 17. Now I am free from the hell, preta, or animal realms, long living gods, born in barbaric land, or being a wrong view holder, born in a period where Buddha has not appeared, or being mentally dumb. I have obtained freedom from these 8 unfree states. Born a human being with all my senses intact and in a center land, with a lifestyle not harmful or wrong, and with faith in the Buddha's teachings, these 5 personal endowments are complete. A Buddha has appeared, has taught the Dharma, it is existing, I follow it, and a sublime teacher has accepted me. I have thus the 5 circumstantial endowments. Although I am in a position where I have every one of them, once this life so fraught with uncertainty is relinquished, I will go on to yet another realm of existence. O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. If I do not use the opportunity this present freedom offers, I will not find such a basis for attaining liberation later on. Once the merit that provided this happy existence is exhausted, I will wander after death as an unfortunate being in the miserable realms. Not knowing virtue from non-virtue, I will never hear a word of Dharma, nor meet a spiritual teacher, a terrible disaster. If we reflect on the numbers and kinds of sentient beings, we understand just how slim is the chance of gaining a human body. When we see even human beings devoid of dharma engaging in negativity, we realize those who act according to dharma are just like the daytime star. O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. Even though it is like reaching a jewel island attaining this human body, a fickle and impetuous mind in such a promising basis makes it an unsuitable support for attaining liberation, especially when possessed by negative influences or with the five poisons raging inside, or when negative karma befalls me or I am distracted by laziness, or when a slave under someone else's control, or turning to Dharma simply out of insecurity or fear, or merely pretending to practice, or when deluded and stupid. These are the eight intrusive circumstances that make Dharma impossible. When these come upon me opposing my Dharma practice, O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. Lacking both revulsion and the jewel of devotion, caught in the bond of desire and cravings, or with crude degenerate behavior, never holding back from negative, harmful actions and engaging in the five inexpiable acts, with vows completely broken and samaya torn to shreds. These are the eight propensities where mind is cut off from the Dharma. When this come upon me opposing my Dharma practice, O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. At this moment, I am not inflicted by sickness and pain, nor am I a slave or such under another's control. So now, when I have this perfect auspicious quality of total independence, if I waste the freedom of this human life through my own indolence, not to mention parting from my companions, possessions, relatives, and loved ones, even this body that I hold so dear will be carried out alone from its bed to some desolate spot, to be torn to pieces by foxes, vultures, and dogs. Then in the bardo there will be even great terror. O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. The results of virtuous and non-virtuous actions will follow accordingly. Especially if I am born in the hell realms, on a ground of burning iron, my head and body will be hacked with weapons. I will be ripped apart with saws and crushed with red-hot hammers. Trapped in a doorless iron cell, screaming out loud, I will be impaled on red-hot spikes, boiled in molten lava, and burned in a fire of intense heat. This is the first eight classification of hells. On the crest of snow mountains, on precipices of ice, terrifying places engulfed by squalls and blizzards of snow, my tender body, lashed by freezing winds, will break out in blisters, bursting open into festering sores, in a ceaseless wail of agonized scream, and suffering difficult to even think about. Like a sick person at death whose strength is completely gone, I will let out deep gasps and groans, with my teeth clenched, my screen cap cracking open, and my exposed raw flesh will split deeper and will split yet again. This is the next eight classifications of the hell. Similarly, my feet will be sliced to ribbons on the plane of razors. In the forest of swords, my body will be gashed and chopped. I will sink in the swamp of putrefying corpses and the pit of hot embers, tormenting in the changing hell in the hell neighboring the ultimate torment. Born in doors, pillars, fireplaces, ropes, and the like, always made use of and exploited in the ephemeral hells. When thoughts of intense hatred and aggression arise, which are the causes of being born in any of the 18 hells, O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. Likewise, in the grim and destitute realm, where the words food, drink, or comfort have never been heard, their pretas find nothing to eat or drink for months and years on end. Their bodies are emaciated, and they lack even the strength to stand. They suffer from three different kinds of obscurations. The reason for being born in such a birth is greed, in constant dread of being killed and eaten by one another, exploited and worked until exhaustion, bewildered as to what to do or not to do. Animals are oppressed by limitless suffering, the seed of which is stubborn stupidity. When I wander into this darkness, O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. Though I have entered the path of Dharma, I haven't put a stop to my mistaken behavior. Though I have entered the door of the Mahayana, I am devoid of any benefiting thoughts for others. Though I have received the four empowerments, I do not practice the generation and completion stages of meditation. O Lama, free me from straying from the path. Though I have not realized the view, I act as if I were crazed. Though distracted in my meditation, I boast about my understanding. Though my actions are at fault, I do not reflect upon my mistakes. O Lama, free me from becoming such a jaded practitioner. Though I may die tomorrow, I am full of craving for home, clothes, and possessions. Though my youth has passed, I lack revulsion and renunciation. Though I have heard only a few Dharma teachings, I arrogantly presume that I have qualities. O Lama, free me from such ignorance. Though headed toward disaster, I am preoccupied in distraction, roaming the world. Though I stay in solitary retreats, my basic character remains as hard as wood. Though I speak of morality, I have not abandoned my attachment and aversion. O Lama, free me from the eight worldly concerns. Quickly rouse me from the deep sleep of ignorance. Quickly free me from this dungeon. So, like that. So, that is the outer preliminaries. And then you visualize the Lama. And now, here for the refuge, you visualize the refuge tree. So, Kunjo sumnyen deshen zawa sum salung tikle rangjin jangchu sen owo rangjin tuje kel korola jangchu ningpo bando jamsun che Kunjo sumnyen deshen zawa sum salung tikle rangjin jangchu sen owo rangjin tuje kel korola jangchu ningpo bando jamsun che Kuncho sumngen deshen zawa sum tsalung tikle rangjin jangchu se. Ngo rangjin tuje kyo korla jangchu ningbo bardo chamsun che. In the actual three jewels, the three root sugatas, in bodhicitta, the nature of channel, wind, and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. In the actual three jewels, the three root sugatas, in bodhicitta, the nature of channel, wind, and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. In the actual three jewels, the three root sugatas, in bodhicitta, the nature of channel, wind, and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. So like that, and then there are those visualizations and so forth. Those are when we are doing just the refuge and then dissolve. So for now, you don't need to dissolve. You still keep on visualizing, and in front of that same visualization, we cultivate bodhicitta. So this is the vow, bodhisattva vow that we take. Hoy na so na wa chunde zinre ke korwa logo jodo champe ro. Rang re se yin so yin se che che me she yin ane semke do. Hoy na so na wa chunde zinre ke korwa logo jodo champe Rang re se yin so yin se che che me she yin ane semke do. Ho na zo na wai chun de zin re ke kor wai lu gu ju du chan be zhu. Rang re yue se yin su yin yu se che se me shi yin an ne sem ke do. Alas, the mesmerizing display of mirrored appearances, like a mirage of the moon in water, beings grasping it as real, wander continuously in samsara to bring them to rest in the space of luminous intrinsic awareness. I generate bodhicitta through the four immeasurables. Alas, the mesmerizing display of mirrored appearances, like a mirage of the moon in water, beings grasping it as real, wander continuously in samsara. To bring them to rest in the space of luminous intrinsic awareness, I generate bodhicitta through the four immeasurables. Alas, the mesmerizing display of mirrored appearances, like a mirage of the moon in water. Beings grasping it as real wander continuously in samsara. To bring them to rest in the space of luminous intrinsic awareness, I generate bodhicitta through the four immeasurables. So here there is actually the practice of Tonglen. As you breathe out, you give. As you breathe in, you uh, take. So those you can learn later. For now, it's not necessary. So okay, the Vajra visualization, and then finally, we as Bodhisattva who are training in Bodhi Chitta, all sentient beings who are the object of our great compassion and this training of Bodhisattva Chitta and so forth, dissolve inseparably into non-conceptual or non-dual great emptiness, and you rest in that state for as long as you can. That is the absolute bodhicitta. So these are elements that even if you are hurrying, just you need to do it. You need to dissolve it, and then you rest it. Just even if it's a gesture, just rest it like that. And then now you go to doing Vajras Sattva. Now our Lama appears in the form of Vajra Sattva. Then we, in our ordinary form, then we supplicate, we visualize Vajra Sattva, and then we supplicate to Vajra Sattva to purify our karma and defilements. Okay, page 43. Ah, in my ordinary form, above the crown of my head, on a white lotus in the center of a moon disk seat, is the syllable Hung which becomes the Lama Vajra Sattva. Brilliantly white with complete Sambhogakaya adornments. Holding Vajra and bell, he embraces his consort Dorje Nema. I take refuge in you and pray that you purify all of my negativities. With deepest regret, I acknowledge and confess them. From now on, even if my life is at stake, I shall vow to refrain from repeating them again. In your heart, upon a full moon, is the syllable Hung encircled by the mantra. Reciting the mantra invokes your wisdom mind, and from the point of the union of Yab and Yum's blissful play, a cloud of bodhicitta nectar flows down like drops of camphor. By means of these, for me and all sentient beings of the three realms, may our negative karma and destructive emotions, the causes of suffering, illnesses, harmful influences, negativities, and obscurations, along with falls, downfalls, and defilements due to breakages of samaya, be purified completely until not a single one remains. Om Vajra Satu Samaya Manu Palaya Vajra Satvate No Padishadridome. Sudokhayo me bhava, subokhayo me bhava, anurata me bhava, sarvasiddhi me prayasa, sanakarma sujame chitam shanim guru. Ho Bhagavan Sarvatata Gata Benza Mame Benza Bhava Samaya Sata Om Benza Santa Samaya Manupale Benza Sata. Tishta Dhrudo me bhava, Sudokaya me bhava, Subokaya me bhava, Anurata me bhava, Sarvasiddhi me praya, Sarvakama Sutami. Sitam Shriam Kuru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sarvatata Gata Benzer Mamim, Benzer Bhava Maha Samaya Sato. Om Benzer Sato Samaya Manupalaya, Benzer Sato Teno Patishta Dhrudo me bhava, Sudokaya me bhava, Subokaya me bhava. Anurata me bhava, Sarvasiddhi me praya, Sarvakama Sutami. Sitam Shriam Kuru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sarvatathagata Benzer Mami Munza Benzer Bhava Maha Samaya Sato. So for now, 3 is enough. So, okay, then we go to the next visualization. O protector, in my ignorance and delusion, I have gone against and impaired my samayas. Lama protector, be my refuge, chief of all the mandalas, Vajra holder, embodiment of great compassion, chief of all living beings, in you I take refuge. I confess all broken root and branch samayas of body, speech, and mind. I pray that you cleanse and purify all my accumulated negativities, obscurations, faults, downfalls, and defilements. So you sincerely mean it like that. So then page 50. So by praying in such a manner, then here, this is how we need to. In the Tibetan, it goes, having prayed in such a way, then Vajra Sattva is pleased, like that. It starts. So just kind of understand that, because when you're practicing, you'll have to understand all of these elements. So having prayed in such a way, Vajra Sattva is pleased and smilingly says, Noble child, all of your negative actions, obscurations, faults, and downfalls are purified. Granting his approval, he melts into light, and by dissolving into me, I become Vajra Sattva, appearing yet empty like a reflection in a mirror. At my heart is the syllable Hung, around which the four brilliantly radiant syllables emanate rays of light, whereby the three worlds, the whole universe, and the beings within it attain Buddhahood together as the Buddha feels and the Buddhas of the five families of Vajra Sattva. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, 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 Om Vajra Sattva 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 Om Vajra Sattva. You don't have to read that one in the box. Okay, go to now the Mandala Offering. So like that, finally Vajra Sattva dissolves. As I said, that the dissolution happens from outside. Then now we have become Vajra Sattva. Vajra Sattva dissolves into the syllables, the mantras. The mantras dissolve inside to the seed syllable. The seed syllables dissolve from underneath and then dissolves to the pigtail, and the pigtail dissolves tracelessly into emptiness, and you rest in that state for a while like that. Then now the mandala offering. For the mandala offering, just you can make, you can hold your mala in your hand like that, and then Om Mahu, the billion pure realms of the 3,000-fold world systems, filled with the 7 precious gems and the wealth of gods and humans, together with my body and possession, I offer them totally. May I attain the dominion of the universal ruler of Dharma. The Akashnishta pure realm densely arrayed with great bliss, the mandalas of the 5 certainties of the 5 Buddha families, along with inconceivable vast clouds of offerings of every variety of sensual pleasures I offer. May I emanate in the Sambhogakaya Buddha field. The world of appearance and possibilities, perfectly pure, is the youthful vase body, ornamented by unceasing great compassion, the display of dharmata. the perfect and pure realm of indivisible wisdom bodies, I offer. May I manifest the pure realm of Dharma Kaya. And page 55. The earth's surface, sprinkled with perfumed water and strewn with flowers, and adorned with Mount Sumeru, the four continents, the sun, and the moon, is visualized as the Buddha field I offer. May all sentient beings enjoy in the pure realm of perfect purity. Tram Guru Ratna Mandala Puja Mega Samudra Savarana Samaye Ahom. When you say the mantra, then you unfold your hands and gesture that you're making offerings like that. Now the Kusali, page 59. You can just sit in meditation and then you can read and then keep the visualization going along the recitation. Paired by casting away all attachment to this dearly cherished body, the Devaputra Mara is destroyed. My consciousness ejects into space through the top of my crown and transforms into trauma, destroying the Mara of the Lord of Death. My right hand holding a hook knife symbolizing vanquishing the Mara of mental afflictions, slices the top of the corpse's skull, destroying the Mara of the aggregates. My left hand holds a skull cup, the aspect of activity, and places it on a hearth of three human skulls, representing the three kayas. Inside the vessel, the corpse, now an offering filling the 3,000-fold world systems. The blazing R syllable melts the hung nectar, and the offerings are purified, multiplied, and transformed by the power of the three syllables. Om Mahu, Om Mahu, Om Mahu, Om Mahu, Om Mahu, Om Mahu, Om Mahu. Om Mahu, Om Mahu, Om Mahu, Om Mahu, Om Mahu. Om Mahu, Om Mahu, Om Mahu, Om Mahu. Om Mahu, Om Mahu, Om Mahu, Om Mahu. Om Mahu. By my offering to guests above, the sublime unconditioned wisdom mind of the root and lineage lamas and the idams are fulfilled. Merit and wisdom are accumulated, and supreme and ordinary siddhis are attained. By my offering to the guests of samsara below, their satisfied and karmic debts are repaid. In particular, the malicious ones and negative forces are satisfied. All illnesses, destructive influences, and obstacles are pacified, dissolving into space. Harmful conditions and clinging to self are destroyed into dust. Finally, offering, offerer, and guests dissolve uncontrived into the original nature of Dzogpa Chenpo. It's pretty simple to understand that finally everything, the offerer, this offering, and to whom we offered, there are the four kinds of guests, so we'll talk about those. So all dissolve inseparably, and you rest into the state of Dzogpa Chenpo, which is the original purity or primordial purity, like that. Okay, now the Guru Yoga. So the difference in Guru Yoga is you visualize this refuge tree, but Guru Rinpoche is here now only in the single form, and you in the form of Vajra Yogini. This picture of Vajra Yogini is very unique. You see that she's standing on her left. She's standing on her right, sorry. And usually you see the other Vajra Yoginis are standing on their left, and the right feet is up. This is Khyentse Rinpoche's vision. Khyentse Rinpoche's according to Khyentse. This is actually a picture from Khyentse Rinpoche himself. Okay, page 65. Emaho. My own perception is the spontaneous, perfect, all-encompassing pure realm, arrayed perfectly as the glorious copper-colored mountain. In its center, I am Vajra Yogini with one face and two hands, brilliantly red and holding a hook knife and skull cup. My 2 feet are in advancing pose, my 3 eyes gazing into the sky. Above the crown of my head on 100,000 petaled lotus, sun and moon disk seed, inseparable from my own root lama, the embodiment of all sources of refuge, appears the Nirmanakaya lake-born Vajra. His body glows with youth, white with a tinge of red. He wears a gown, monastic shawl, cloak, and robe, with one face, two hands, and seated in a majestic posture. In his right hand he holds a Vajra, in his left a skull cup containing the vase of immortality. And on his head he wears the five-petaled lotus crown. In the crook of his left elbow he holds the supreme consort of bliss and emptiness, concealed as a three-pronged Khatvanga. He presides amidst a shimmering aura of rays and rings of rainbow light. All around him, enveloped in a beautiful lattice of white, blue, yellow, red, and green light, are the 25 disciples, king and subjects, Panditas and Siddhas of India and Tibet, Rigzins and Idam deities, Dakinis, Dharmapalas, and protectors, those who keep the Samaya, all gathered like billowing clouds, vividly and distinctly visualized in the great equanimity of clarity and emptiness. Hogen Yugen of Johnson, Pemai Geser Dombo, Yazen Chogen Odrobne, Pema June Shesu, Kordo Kandro Mambe Kor, Kege Jesu Dan Druche, Chingen Lobshe Shesu Se, Guru Pema Sinde, Hogen Yugen of Johnson, Pema Geser Dombo. Yazen chogen odrone pema june shesu da kordo kandro mambe kor kege jesu dadru ke jenge loche shekso se guru pema sinde hong ujen yuge no jan sam pema gesa dombo Yazen chogen odrone pema june shesu da Kodu kandro mambe kor kege jesu da drupje. Chingen lobshe shekso se guru pemai sinde hong. Okay, now page 71. The seven branch prayers. Free, equal to the numbers of atoms in the universe, I multiply my body and offer prostrations. Through the power of samadhi, both real offerings and those mentally emanated, all appearances and possibilities are presented as the gesture offering. All non-virtuous karma of my body, speech, and mind are confessed in the luminous state of the Dharmakaya. I rejoice in the accumulation of all virtue contained within the true truths. For the three types of beings to be tamed, I request you to turn the wheel of Dharma of the three yanas. Until samsara is emptied, I pray that you remain without passing into nirvana. All the roots of virtue accumulated in the three times I dedicate as the cause for attaining supreme Buddhahood. Okay, now the supplication. Page 74. O Guru Rinpoche, precious Lama, you are the glorious embodiment of the compassion and blessings of all the Buddhas, the only protector of all sentient beings. My body, wealth, lungs, heart, and chest I offer to you without hesitation. From now until I attain Buddhahood, in happiness or sorrow, in circumstances good or bad, in situations high or low, great precious Lama, lotus bone, think of me. Okay, next line, page 75. I have no one else to turn to. The beings of these degenerate times are sinking in the swamp of unbearable suffering. Protect us from all of these, O great Guru. Grant us the four empowerments, O Blessed One. Deepen our realization, O Compassionate One. Purify the two obscurations, O Powerful One. Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mahum Benza Guru. Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mahum Benza Guru. Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mahum. Om 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 Omahum Banza Guru Pema Sindhi, page 77. Emaho, from within the pure realms, free from falling into limitations and extremes, the primordial Buddha Dharmakaya Kunto Zangpo, Vajra Sattva, the Sambhoga Kaya manifesting display like the moon in water, and Garabdoji, perfect with the marks of Nirmana Kaya. To you I pray, please grant blessings and empowerment. Shri Singha, treasury of the ultimate Dharma, Chambal Shenan, universal monarch of the nine yanas, Janana Sutra, the great Pandita Vimala Mitra, to you I pray, please show the path of liberation. Pema Jungni, sole ornament of the world, the supreme wisdom heart disciples, King Trisong Detsen, Consort Eshe Sogal, Vairochana, and others. Venerable Longchen Pa, who revealed the symbols of the notion of wisdom mind treasures. Jigme Lingpa, entrusted with the transmission of the space treasury of the Dakinis. To you I pray, please grant liberation and fruition. Dodrup Trinlewezer, Gyalwen Yugu, Patru Rinpoche, Jamyang Kenze Wangpo, Natsok Rangdal, Kenze Choki Lodre, Kenze Wezer, and the incomparably kind Root Lama. To you I pray, please show the original face of my true nature. With renunciation being disgusted with cyclic existence, may I meaningfully depend upon my Vajra Lama as though he were my eyes. Following his instructions to the letter and taking to heart the profound practices he gives, and applying them with constant diligence, not just now and then, may the blessing of his realized wisdom mind be transferred into my own. All appearances and possibilities, samsara and nirvana, are primordially the Kanishta Puram, which is the result of purifying, perfecting, and ripening of deities, mantras, and dharmakaya. This is Dzogpa Shenpo, free of any action and effort of abandoning and adopting. Rigpa's dynamic radiance, which is beyond conceptual analysis and dualistic experience. May I see the actual unclad Dharmata. The conceptual characteristics perfectly liberate us as the encompassing sphere of rainbows and lights. The expression of Kaya's and Tiglay's supremely blossoming and achieving the full measure of Rigpa's power, the pure realms of Sambhoga Kaya, and attaining Buddhahood in the great consummate suchness of phenomena beyond concepts. May I accomplish the everlasting dominion of the youthful vase body. If I am unable to experience the realization of Ati Yoga, and this physical body is not liberated into the pure expanse, then when the formative constituents of this life fall apart, may the luminosity of death arise as the primordially pure Dharmakaya. May the appearances of the Bardo be liberated into Sambhogakaya. Perfecting the power of the path of Chekshe and Thugul, may I be liberated like a child returning to its mother's lap. In the great secret luminosity, the summit of the supreme vehicle, Buddha is nowhere sought but in the face of Dharmakaya. If I am not liberated into the manifested primordial ground, then relying on the supreme path of the five teachings on Buddhahood without meditation, May I be born in the five natural pure realms of Nirmana Kayas, especially in the palace of lotus light pure realm. Then, in the presence of the Lord of Origin himself, supreme sovereign of the ocean of Rigzin masters, in the place where there is the joyous celebration of the teachings of the supreme secret mantra, let me be born as its supreme heir and be liberated. May I become the guardian of limitless sentient beings. Through the blessings of the ocean of the victorious Rigzins, through the inconceivable truth of the Dharma Dhatu, through this freedom and endowed human body, training in perfecting, ripening, and purifying, manifest the interdependence and attain Buddhahood. The four empowerments. From the letter Om, radiant like a crystal at the Lama's forehead, rays of light stream forth and enter my forehead, purifying negative actions of the body and obscurations of the channels. The blessing of the Vajra body is infused. The vase empowerment is received, and I become a receptive vessel for the generation stage. The seed of the completely mature Rigzin is sown, and the fortune to attain the state of Nirmanakaya is established within my mind. From the letter R, blazing like a ruby at the Lama's throat, rays of light stream forth and enter my throat, purifying negative actions of the speech and obscurations of the inner wind. The blessing of Vajra speech is infused. The secret empowerment is received, and I become the receptive vessel for the practice of mantra recitation. The seed of the Rigzin with power over life is sown, and the fortune to attain the state of Sambhogakaya is established within my mind. From the sky-colored letter Hung at the Lama's heart, rays of light stream forth and enter my heart, purifying negative actions of the mind and obscurations of the essence. The blessing of Vajra mind is infused. The wisdom empowerment is received, and I become a receptive vessel for the Zendali practice of bliss and emptiness. The seed of the Mahamudra Rigzin is sown, and the fortune to attain the state of Dharmakaya is established within my mind. Once more from the letter Hung at the Lama's heart, a second Hung streaks out like a shooting star, merging inseparably with my mind, purifying the karma of the old ground and conceptual obscurations. The blessing of Vajra wisdom is infused. The ultimate symbolizing word empowerment is received, and I become the receptive vessel of the Dzogpa Chempa of original purity. The seed of the spontaneously accomplished Rigzin is sown, and the fortune to attain the state of Savabhavika Kaya, the final fruition, is established within my mind. Okay, like that. And then now we go to our insert, that handout. You all understand that this part is a little bit longer right now, but if you do this right without having to talk, then this thing just takes like 20 minutes at the most. So day by day we will get accustomed to this, and then it should go fast. So for now we just have to kind of take our time. So okay, it's on page at Roman numeral 5. So once again, in front of the refuge tree, then you supplicate to the Lama, the lineage Lamas, and all, that they grant their blessings, that I can recognize and realize how precious, how rare and difficult it is to achieve this fortunate or precious human body, like that. So think like that. Then also, if you are doing um, like in a session, like in the traditional way, this would be the second session at that time. Then just reciting the 7-line prayers 3 times, and then you supplicate to Guru in this way, and then immediately settle yourself in reading the materials like that. I fervently supplicate to the glorious sacred Lama, the essence of all of the Buddhas of the 3 times, the embodiment of the four kayas. I pray that you grant me blessings and empowerments. I pray that you bless me so that the extraordinary realization of the profound path arises in me. I pray that you bless me to realize the view of primordial purity of the abiding nature. I pray that you bless me to perfect the wisdom of the four visions of spontaneous presence. I pray that you bless me to realize how difficult it is to attain this precious human body. For now, we'll just do one time, okay? So then you sit like that, and then immediately you sit, and then you think, I'm meditating or I'm reading this in order to understand how precious it is, this fortunate human birth. So then now you can pick your book, and then I'll just time today 44. So we'll just do like 15 minutes reading today. So pick whichever one you want, but in your mind, just kind of you're thinking about being free from these 8 unfree states. So you can read whichever material you want at this time. I'd emphasize you read on the motivation, or today use the manual. Yesterday you read the words of my perfect teachers. Today read the manual. So, the manual is shorter than the other one. If you have read this text before, then you can go to another part. You can just go to the precious human body. But if you never read this book, then start from the beginning. Start from chapter 1. So you have to start from the where it says guide to the words of my perfect teacher, and then you have Longchen picture here. And then it begins with the introduction. So there is the homage and so forth. Read from there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, like that, you read passage and then you make sure you understand what you're reading. And especially on this book, read page 124. Later, you can read that, mark your book. It's on page 124 of this one. It tells you how you begin your, how you kind of start your session. And you do that one. So just mark page 124 in this, the manual of Words of My Perfect Teacher. And then now the placement meditation or analytical meditation. So whatever you read, bring it to your experience. And if you were talking about your motivation, then you can check your motivation. Or if you're just kind of seeing if your mind is wandering, and then immediately catch your mind and then place, and then make this vigilant, like firm conviction or commitment, saying that I'll not let my mind wander again. So, like that. So our practice, our subject, or the main part that we're practicing is on the nature of freedom. So being free from the 8 states. So today, just kind of meditate on it. I won't talk so. Okay, so good enough for today. So go to it, that insert the handout on the Roman numeral page 7. This is dedication. Usually this has to be up there. So this is prayer of sublime aspiration. That one. Dawa Topchan Ningbo Cheki Ul Che Guru Shukchan Chemin Chebe Tadam Dadra Mombe Semchen Nam Deljura Ningbo Lembara Jenge Lo. Okay, back to page 7, that one. Although I have won these freedoms, I am poor in dharma, which is their essence. Although I have entered the dharma, I am distracted doing other things. Bless me and all those foolish beings like me, that we may attain the very essence of the freedoms and advantages. Okay, and then now we can do the fourfold refuge. Now we can recite the fourfold refuge. So yesterday we got 100 of the 108 of the refuge. So 100, when we do 108, so it's just counted as 100. So like that, we say 108, but it's 100. So that's why we have to do 111,000 times. So those 8 are just what makes for in case you kind of missed one or so, then it becomes 100. Okay. Lama la japsu che wo sangye la japsu che wo chen la japsu che wo gen den la japsu che wo lama la japsu che wo sangye la japsu che wo che la japsu che wo gen den la japsu che wo lama la japsu che wo sangye la japsu che wo che la japsu che wo gen den la japsu che wo lama la japsu che wo sangye la japsu che wo che la japsu che wo Gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, che la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, che la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, che la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, che la chapsu che wo, Gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, chen la chapsu che wo, gendel la chapsu che wo, lama la chapsu che wo, sangye la chapsu che wo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo. Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo. Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chewo, Chen la Joseph Chewo, Genda la Joseph Chewo, Lama la Joseph Chewo, Sangha la Joseph Chela Joseph Chuo, Gendela Joseph Chuo, Lamala Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chela Joseph Chuo, Gendela Joseph Lamala Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chela Joseph Chuo, Gendela Joseph Chuo, Lamala Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chela Joseph Chuo, Gendela Joseph Chuo, Lamala Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chela Joseph Chuo, Gendela Joseph Lamala Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chela Joseph Chuo, Gendela Joseph Chuo, Lamala Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chela Joseph Chuo, Gendela Joseph Lama la Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chen la Joseph Chuo, Gendala Joseph Chuo, Lama la Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chen la Joseph Chuo, Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chen la Joseph Chuo, Gendala Joseph Chuo, Lama la Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chen la Joseph Chuo, Gendala Joseph Chuo, Lama la Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chen la Joseph Chuo, Gendala Joseph Chuo, Lama la Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chen la Joseph Chuo, Gendala Joseph Chuo, Lama la Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chen la Joseph Chuo, Gendala Joseph Chuo, Lama la Joseph Chuo, Sangala Joseph Chuo, Chen la Joseph Chuo, Sangala Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Joseph Chen la Joseph Gendala Joseph Lama la Joseph Sangala Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Joseph 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 Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Namala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Joseph Namala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Joseph Namala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Joseph Namala Joseph Sangala Namala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Joseph 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 Namala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala 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 Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendal Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Joseph Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Joseph 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 Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Lamal Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala 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 Lamal Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Joseph Lamal Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Joseph Lamal Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Joseph Lamal Joseph Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Gendala Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo. Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo. Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala 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 Jobjo. Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo. Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, 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 Lamala Jobjo. Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, 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 Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo. Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, 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 Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo. Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo. Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, 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 Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo. Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, 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 Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala 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 Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, 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 Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala 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 Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, 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 Chella Jobjo, Gendala Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo. Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, 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 Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Jobjo, Lamala Jobjo, Sangala Jobjo, Chella Jobjo, Gendala Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, 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 Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph. Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, 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 Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph. Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, 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 Lamla Joseph, Sangla Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph. Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, 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 Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel 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 Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel 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 Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, 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 Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, 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 Sangla Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel 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 Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel 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 Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, 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 Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Lamla Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chala Joseph, Gendel 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 Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela 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 Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel 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 Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel 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 Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamala Joseph, Sangla 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 Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamala Joseph, Lamala Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Lamala Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamala Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamala Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Lamala Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, 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 Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel 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 Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel 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 Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, 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 Lamal Joseph, Sangla Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, 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 Lamal Joseph, Sangla Chela Joseph, Gendel Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, 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 Chela Joseph, Gendel Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson 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 Lamal Joseph Sangla Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson 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 Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson 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 Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Joseph Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Joseph Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Joseph Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson 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 Lamal Joseph Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson Lamal Joseph Sangla Joseph Chenla Johnson Kendall Johnson So like that, and then you can set aside, like right now I'm pulling some grains of rice, so you don't have to keep on wasting your time pulling the counter. So like that, the observe. So then later, then you can pull. So yesterday we did 100, today we did 500, so we did 600 altogether. Then you can pull. Also, you have your logbook, so you can pull in your logbook. So this one, you only can do 30,000. You cannot do more than that. And 70,000 plus 11,000, so 81,000. Yeah, 81,000. We'll have to do the main route, the refuge from Longchen Nyingthig. So koncho sumye deshe tsawa simtsa longthig le rangchun changchu se ngo rangchun tulje kilkola changchun nyingpo pado chansu che. That one, okay? So do that one, and then now go back to your insert, that handout. Then you're on page 7, that not Roman numeral 7, and then the dedication. You can do dedication. Gyewa di nyurdu da konsho sumbo drupjur ne drowa chikchan malu pa deye sala gömbara sho. Through the merit of this practice, may I swiftly accomplish the 3 jewels and establish every sentient beings without exception on their level. So that's how you would dedicate in every session. So we are doing it every day, but if you were doing it like just taking the whole 111 days for the mind training, you would be doing this, like say this was your morning session. So then just before you break for breakfast, then you would do this short dedication like that. And then second session, you would pick up again, you open with uh, the three state of your body, state of your mind, state of your speech, that's expelling the stale winds, and then the state of your mind is to bring forth the altruistic motivation, and then supplicating to the guru, the lineage lamas, and then immediately saying Om, Lama Lachasya, Sangha Lachasya, Shela Lachasya, sorry, you would actually first read the first hour, then contemplate the second hour, and the third hour you would just accumulate like that, and then finally dedicate. Again, you go do your, go for lunch and then come back and you do that. Same like that. And now this is the third session. I mean, this is the fourth session, the last session. So the fourth session, again, you begin with the three things. The posture of your body, the posture of your speech, the posture of your mind, and the supplication to the guru. And then you do all the reading, the contemplation, and the recitation, accumulation like that. And then you dedicate. At this time, then you would go through the conclusion of the Longchen Nyingthig Ngondro. Because for them, they are doing 4 sessions. The last session is what is going to close the whole session. So they'll be doing that. But for us, we are closing every session. So we'll have to go back to the Longchen Nyingthig Ngondro text. So go back to the Ngondro text now. It's on the conclusion where we stopped after after the 4 empowerments. We're on page 89, like that. Then before you conclude, then you can, at this time, you can just reflect or examine, how did my session go? Was I drifting in thoughts, distracted, or my interests were not there, my intention weren't there, and so forth. I was just doing for the sake or whatever, like those kind of things. Then immediately you say, this next session, I'll be more mindful. No, that's my determination that I won't let my next session go into waste like that. Then if you had a good session, then you don't feel too boasted or too high or too, and then you just say, okay, you did good this time, but let me see if you can do like that in your next session, like that. And then if you were kind of, not so good, and then you don't have to be too harsh on yourself. You can just say, oh, that is the way how my mind is, my old habit. Now, if I wasn't that way, I would have attained Buddhahood already. So, but now I will train this wild mind, unruly mind, and then I will set it on track, and then I'll do that. So bring in that determination. And then don't be depressed. You have to uplift yourself. Don't be too mean onto yourself by being too impatient. So, and that's what my friend told me. I don't remember his actual word, but he kind of, when we were in Shedra, he met a girl and then he fell in love and then he left the Shedra. Later he realized, and I think he said, that don't be too harsh onto yourself by being too impatient. Something like that he wrote to us. So anyway, like that. And then, whatever virtue we have accumulated, and think that before we squander, before our mind becomes mindless, then we want to dedicate, as you read in the both the words of my perfect teacher and the manuals, that why we need to dedicate. We dedicate for the great cause, just as how the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, like how Manjushri, how Samantabhadra dedicated, exactly like that we want to dedicate. The short one, dedication, is you have to take mm, from the manual or from the words of my perfect teacher. It's the one that we usually do, just as Manjushri and just as Manjushri realized and Samantabhadra too. I too will dedicate all my merit for the excellent conduct, like that one. And then, just as how the Buddhas have praised dedications as excellent or supreme, I too will dedicate all my merit for the excellent conduct. So, like those kind of dedication, you can learn to do that. But for now, we already have the conclusion dedication here, so I didn't include in the insert. But that's a traditional dedication. So before we squander our accumulation of merit, we dedicate. So, okay, page 89. When my life is at its end, my perception, the glorious copper-colored mountain, the pure ram of Ngayab, indivisible from Nirmanakaya's pure ram, and my body Vajra Yogini is transformed into a radiant, brilliant sphere of light. Merging inseparably with Jits and Pema Jungne, I attain Buddhahood. Then from the display of vast primordial wisdom, the miraculous manifestation of bliss and emptiness, for every single being in the three realms, let me appear as their supreme guide. Juzen Pema, grant this so I pray. I pray to you from the bottom of my heart. These are not just empty words. I pray that you grant your blessings from the expanse of your wisdom mind and cause all my aspirations to be fulfilled. These Vajraguru mantras inserted here are later when we are doing the extraordinary preliminaries. So for now, we don't need to accumulate that. Traditionally, we spend about 64 days on the outer preliminaries and about 43 days on the inner preliminaries. So altogether 108, and we usually say 111. So the first day for preparation and the last day for Thanksgiving and so forth. So 111 days. So, but the count is 108 a day. And then they title it 100-day mind training retreat. But um, we are going to do the extensive one. So that is how Kempo Ngakchung, how Kempo Ngakchung, Lama of Chabja Jadu Rinpoche, who is the grand student of Patu Rinpoche. Between Patu Rinpoche and Kempo Ngakchung, there is Ngeshul Lungtok. Remember Ngeshul Lungtok? He is the one. And then Patu Rinpoche told Ngeshul Lungtok, our teacher's incarnation is supposed to be born around this time. Perhaps I might not see him because I'm too old. And then if he is born after I'm gone, you should take care of him. So this is this is Jigmen Ingpa himself being born. And then it's just like father and heart son kind of taking care. So, and for those of you who like to learn about the lineage lamas, there is this wonderful book on the biographies of the Dzogchen masters, the marvelous garland of precious gem, the marvelous garland of rare gems. It's again translated by Chokinima. We did this one, I think it took us about 2 years or so. I read the Tibetan and the English like that. So you can read the life stories. That's how it is done in the retreat settings, that in the evening before they fall asleep, before they go to sleep, they read the life stories of the lamas, that they inspire them, that this life they want to focus in achieving what all these lamas attained. attaining rainbow body, attaining the realization of original purity and pervasive equality. So, what else you would want other than that? So those kind of things. So you feel inspired. So if you don't have that, you can read life stories like Dakini Yeshitsogal, Guru Rinpoche's, Dakini Mandarawa, or Milarepa, and other masters and so forth. And then your mind not just kind of attracted toward this uh, what you call this all this glittery aspects of the world. Rather, you will be inspired toward wisdom phenomena, and that is what will bring us to attaining Buddhahood, and this is what will bring the benefit to all sentient beings. So think like that. So they read that, and then they feel inspired, and then they don't want to break their retreat. Otherwise, they go crazy because they're isolated, and then they want to go out of the retreat, like that. So when they read these lamas, they feel inspired, and they feel joy in all the hardship. Their life, their day-to-day activities challenging. It's severe. The weather is harsh. The conditions is not luxurious. They don't have like uh, good nourishing food and so forth. So they just survive because they are inspired, and they nourish on the food, what is called the food of samadhi, the meditation, like that. And they are all very joyful. You actually see these meditators, they never have gray hair because their body is naturally balanced. All the elements are balanced. That's the quality you see. They never lose their hair. But we here drinking Coca-Cola. And so, okay, anyway, so now, now the dissolution, like that. Okay. From the heart center of the Lama, a beam of light, red and warm, suddenly appears, and with myself visualizes Dorjin El Jorma. It touches my heart, and I'm instantaneously transformed into a sphere of red light, which dissolves into Guru Rinpoche's heart, and I become inseparable with him in one taste. Glorious, precious root Lama, dwelling on the lotus seat in my heart, care for me with your compassionate great kindness. Grant me the accomplishments of your body, speech, and mind. Toward the life and liberation of the glorious Lama, may wrong views not arise, not even for an instant. And through the devotion of seeing whatever he does as excellent, may the blessings of the Lama infuse my mind. In all of my lifetimes, may I never be separated from the perfect Lama. And experiencing the splendor of Dharma, may I perfect the qualities of the paths and bhumis, and swiftly attain the level of Vajradhara. As the heroic Manjushri realized and Samanta Bhadra too, I will train in their examples and perfectly dedicate all of these virtues. All the conquerors of the three times, in whichever way they supremely dedicate, I too will perfectly dedicate all my roots of virtue for the excellent conduct. In all my lifetimes, wherever I am born, may I obtain the seven qualities of higher realms. Upon taking birth, may I immediately meet the Dharma and have the freedom to practice it perfectly. In that life, may I please the Sublime Lama and practice the Dharma day and night. Having realized the Dharma, may I accomplish the ultimate meaning of essence. And may I cross over the ocean of worldly existence in this very life. May I thoroughly teach the sublime Dharma within the world, and never become disheartened or weary of accomplishing the benefit of others. Through working impartially for the vast benefit of others, may all beings attain Buddhahood together. benza guru pema sindhi hum. Om Ahum benza guru pema sindhi hum. Om Ahum benza guru pema sindhi hum. Om Ahum benza guru pema sindhi hum. So like that, okay. How fortunate it would be if we were to do this retreat just on its own, like taking the whole chunk out of our year. So say for 3 months or 4 months like that. So that would be wonderful, you know. And during those time, there are other activities that are done during the post meditation. And if you want to learn, like offering the water offerings, offering the Torma offerings, the Sang offerings, and Dharma protectors, and so forth. And in the retreat settings, you actually do the Dakini's laughter. You do in the night session, you do the chut, the Khandro Gyajang chut too, and so forth. So if you want to learn, later we'll talk about that, those kind of things. Okay, and then if you read on the page following that one, you have all those aspiration prayers that you need to do. You can find that online or see. I have some, then I will also send that one out. So like that. So yeah, that's all, I guess. Mm-hmm. Any questions?
So Rinpoche, I think when I was doing the refuge, I think I did only like 400, and so that means I have less than one mala. Do I do like later after this to like make up for the 5?
Did we do 500 or 400? Can you anybody valid? Anybody else remember? Because I thought that we did 500 this morning.
500 today. Yes.
We did 500?
Yeah, I think I just do slower than you. That's what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So do 100, okay? Later, do 100.
Yes.
And then you keep, so that we all are on the same thing, like that.
Okay.
So yeah, we have to catch up like that. And then once we do 30,000 of the refuge, then we can move on our recitation to bodhicitta. Without 30,000, we cannot move on to the next recitation. So it'll take, because we have 64 days of the outer preliminaries, we have some time so to accumulate. But also, whichever you think you can accumulate fast. I take refuge in the Lama, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. I think this will take longer for me. So I think Lama Lechapsa, Sangha Lechapsa, Chela Lechapsa, Gendra Lechapsa is faster. So I wouldn't waste time like saying I take refuge in the Dharma, I could take refuge in the Lama, I take refuge in the it takes me longer. So just do Lama Lechapsa, Sangha Lechapsa, Chela Lechapsa, Gendra Lechapsa. You know the meaning, yeah? I take refuge in the Lama, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. So just say Lama Lechapsa, Sangha Lechapsa, Chela Lechapsa, Gendra Lechapsa. And once in a while, when you kind of feel like you have this heart-to-heart connection with the Guru, then immediately stop, and then you receive the blessings and think that with these blessings, all sentient beings, particularly here at this time, recognize or realize the precious human body, like that. Okay? Think like that. And then again, you're like, so keep mark your counters. Don't, if you fall asleep, then you'll kind of, you lose your track. So you have to hold it like this. Sometimes some people will do like that. So even if they fall, you have them here like that. But don't fall asleep. Okay. Anybody else?
Question.
Any question? Yeah.
When reading the like instructions, visualization instructions, for instance, like when it says visualize myself as and on and on. Sometimes like I was wondering, am I supposed to visualize and practice all those things that it says while I'm reading it, or is it more you learn it and then you do it after you read it? Does it happen simultaneously?
Yeah, in the beginning it won't happen, but slowly by slowly it will happen. Right now, we have a strong habit that I am Sonam like that, you are Ben like that. But slowly by slowly, when you visualize, then as you read, then I am the Dakini, those kind of things you'll start to, as you read, you'll have that. Kempo Munsel, who is one of our lamas in the lineage, he mentions just like when you are going on a trip, when you are traveling, then you think of your room, you think of your house, then immediately you can you don't fumble. Like when you know where your bathroom is, you don't have to think, where's my bathroom, like you know where your bathroom. Likewise, when you go to the kitchen, you have these different drawers and you know where your knives, where your spoons and so forth. Immediately it comes in your mind. It's like second nature, or how would you say. Likewise, when we meditate later on, these aspects of different attributes of the deities, or the characteristics of the deities and so forth appear. Just like when you think of your mom's face appears. Likewise, when you think of the deity, immediately their countenance, their attributes and all appear like that. So it will happen. So for now, thing is, be determined. Don't like, oh, just because I cannot, then don't, not thinking like that. But here you have to kind of make effort, so that way you progress. Okay.
And is it important to read the directions? I guess my question, one of them is just, is there a time where once you have the directions from the reading that you just go and practice it, or is it important to always read it while practicing? Does that make sense? Like, is it important to read through all the directions while visualizing, or do you ever, just memorize it?
Like you are referring to the instructions,
Yes.
like the instructions of how it is visualized. Yes, when as you recite, you try to bring in mind, and then of course you cannot get all of those details, and later when you're doing like the mantras and so forth, you can go back. So you could try from like maybe the face or the eyes or the nose or the lips and those kind of thing. You can focus on one like that, and then slowly kind of build like that. So it will happen. So yeah, you wouldn't stop like, oh, this line I have to kind of visualize, and you halt there and then again kind of go. You just recite, whether you are able or not, you recite. And later when you are accumulating the mantra or some kind of other place where you're contemplating, then you bring in your mind.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, Lindsay. So before we began this Nundro, I was accumulating in the Dejom Tersar one. Would it be appropriate to pause that one while we do this? Or should I do them both side by side? Or is there a way to combine in some way?
If you have time, you do the other one too. Then you do the other one too if you want to do. Otherwise, then you can just focus on this one. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
I was just going to see if maybe you can give some advice on this. I noticed my mind tends to want to, while reading, do the contemplation at that time. And then after, during the time for contemplation, it just kind of wants to rest.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's the whole idea, is you want to, it's alternating. While you're reading, then you are contemplating. While you're contemplating, if you kind of miss, then you can go back into reading. So, and then once you get the feeling that, oh, this is it, then immediately you can place your book down and then just settle and do like that. So it doesn't matter. The whole idea is in the 100-day retreat, you know what you're doing. That's the important thing. If you know what you're doing, then you don't have to read a lot. Then you can just kind of place yourself and contemplate. So right now, there's not so much detail about. It's just we're talking about the 4 states which are non-human, like the hell, hungry ghosts, animal, and the samadhi gods or the long-living gods. Those are not human. So 4 of those. It's easy to understand. I'm not one of those. And then the 4 are within human beings. Like if you were to be born in a barbaric country, if you held wrong views, if you had like your senses impaired, and if you were to be born during a time when Buddha wasn't born, or Buddha didn't appear, then you wouldn't be free. So like that, and then you just very easy to contemplate. But later on, like the hell realm, there are all this sophisticated like sufferings and so forth. Then at that time you might have to rigorously read that. So for now, if you kind of, when you're reading, your mind is very sharp and you can contemplate, the picture appears in your mind and so forth, that's fine.
Okay. So it's okay that after my mind's not really able to follow a linear thought of contemplation with that. Like after I put the book down and I try to think of if I was born as a hell being, kind of goes that far. Like I'm not able to kind of continue contemplating in that way.
Yeah, that's meditation. So you have to follow along. You have to
keep trying.
It's not like, like drunk person's conversation. Then you talk something and lose, and then you go there. So you try to follow along your thought pattern of contemplation like that, and then till you come to a point that you can feel that fortunate human birth is really precious, like that. So till that point, you have to push, you have to keep on going, and you contemplate how, if you don't have this contrast between unfree state, then you'll never appreciate. So you have to kind of look, why unfree? Why, what if Buddha were never born, it would be what is called as the dark kalpa, and then how miserable it would be. Nobody would understand what virtue to adopt, what non-virtue or non-virtue to abandon, and so forth. So those kind of thing. And then you kind of get this excruciating kind of, pain or a pang like that. And then when you get that, then immediately you supplicate to the Guru, saying that may all sentient beings realize this fortunate human birth to be rare and precious, like that. Like, okay, do that. It's not like we're wasting our time. You have to force yourself so your mind kind of focuses on this subject of why it is precious, in contrast to these 8 unfree states. So you don't drift your mind elsewhere. You have to focus on that, this suffering or these kind of states, like that. That's the mind training. So otherwise, we are not trying to sit in shamatha like that. Here, you're focusing on these mind trainings. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody? Hi, Vinesh.
Yes.
Vinesh. Okay.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been trying to experience Guru Rinpoche, and I'm just wondering how to approach it. I mean, in terms of, an energetic level, I mean, when he dissolves into, for example, my heart at night, how best to experience the energy is, so because I'm trying to discover a kind of what he may represent, and then different things, in terms of like, is it a love energy? Is it all the things he accomplished? How to perceive his essence.
Yeah, yes. In the night time, then you can visualize all of the lineage lamas, one dissolving into another, and finally to Guru Rinpoche like that, if you have time like that. Then if you fall asleep in the instance of one lama dissolving to another lama, that's just okay, you can do. And then finally your lama dissolves into your heart. Inside your heart, there is a 4-petal lotus. Then on top of that one, in this clear, radiant light, and then you place your mind and you fall asleep like that. And then further on, this luminosity kind of spreads your whole body. Your whole body becomes light, and this light kind of illuminates the whole room, that kind of thing. So just focus that. Just focus on that one. And this is how you, this is dream yoga. This is called the practice of luminosity. So, and Guru Rinpoche, and in terms of intimacy, you can think, like yourself, because that's true. You are Vajra Yogini. So you can think yourself as Vajra Yogini, and then dissolving into you, and you become inseparable. Then you can feel the bliss, and you can, all this ecstasy and so forth. You can feel like that, and you can fall asleep. That's well and good. So.
Great, thank you.
And not only that, then the wisdom aspect of Guru Rinpoche, like his wisdom body, his wisdom speech, his wisdom mind realization, and so forth. This is the way how you receive the blessing. So it's not wrong in terms of like sensual feelings and so forth. You're absolutely, okay to think like that, and then you can feel actually the blessings of Guru Rinpoche's wisdom body or sacred body like that. And then you sleep like that. So that's like during the nighttime. During the daytime, then in terms of Vajra Sattva, then you can think the nectar's descending in your body and purifying all your defilements. Or otherwise, then you supplicate to Guru Rinpoche wholeheartedly that you see the wisdom quality of your Lama in Guru Rinpoche. Then at that instant, you receive the 4 empowerments. Okay. So the last one is exactly like what we did, like we fervently pray to Guru Rinpoche, and Guru Rinpoche dissolves into red light. That red light dissolves into Guru Rinpoche's heart, or Guru Rinpoche's red light dissolves into our heart. So this is interchangeable. Either we've, like from Guru Rinpoche's red, that heat, warmth coming into us and immediately turning into this red ball of light and dissolving into Guru Rinpoche's heart, or Guru Rinpoche melting into light and dissolving into us. It's not different. They are inseparable. So whichever you want to do is fine. But during the daytime, supplicating and receiving the four empowerments is important. During the night, falling asleep and then merging into light, this luminosity, that's important. Then other kind of thing, if you have any kind of feelings of Guru Rinpoche is very like powerful. That's why people just have, they don't ask questions. They have this affinity, what you call that. They have this natural, Guru Rinpoche has this magnetizing power that they feel compelled, or they feel it's, they like Guru Rinpoche. His personality is so magnetizing. So if you feel like that, do so.
So I've noticed also a few magical occurrences. So I wonder if the blessings of
Wonderful, that's good. So yeah,
just just odd things. Like I was thinking the light over, I wanted to unscrew one of the light bulbs, and then it went off on its own on the chandelier. Little things like that. So maybe.
Okay, sure, yeah. You can do that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, Kimpala, there are a number of other teachings coming up and empowerments this weekend. What is your recommendation on those?
Yes, those of you who are going to receive the Shito teachings, I suggest that they receive the Shito empowerment from Garchen Rinpoche. He is doing the empowerment on Karmeling by Shito. So, because in order to pursue the Shito teachings and practice, you have to receive the Shito empowerment. So, if you have not done, then please do. If you have, then it's fine. I think you might have already received. So Wednesday we'll have Shito class teachings for now, and on the Monday night, starting next Monday, so it's Dakini Day, and then we'll have the Shito practice. And then this Thursday, day after, is the praise to the four seals of the Dharma, like that. So it's so whichever you want to, if you feel like joining, please do. And these are all teachings of Dzogchen, so we are aiming to extract the essence from those teachings. So if you want to receive, I usually encourage all the students to do that, because if you have time, why waste it? Receive it, and then even if you're not practicing it, then you have all the transmissions, the teachings, and then later when you're ready, then you can go. At that time, you don't have to look for the teachings because you already received it. Otherwise, then you have to, wait for the next time when someone else is giving this kind of teachings. Okay.
Mashallah.
Anybody else?
Rinpoche,
Oh, yeah.
with like a guru yoga, like during the day, you say like to do multiple empowerments. So do we just kind of think of like very quickly, just think, oh, I'm gonna do this for all sentient being, and then like just recite the 7-line prayer, and then visualized receiving the blessings, and then like dedicate, and then just do it
you can do
multiple
the
times.
short dedication. For the refuge, there's the dedication, you saw that. And then also there's that aspiration, may all beings like me and all fully sentient beings realize the fortunate human birth. Those aspirations, you can learn that. So these aspirations will transform. There are different, like right now we're saying, may we realize fortunate human birth. Later then it will go to, may we realize the impermanence of life, and so forth. So learn on those. So if you're doing during the daytime, just begin, sit nicely, in a posture, and then expel the stale wind. To do the stale wind, you don't have to do the whole 9-round breathing. You can just, this is the Longchen Bus way of resting at ease. And then you can just do like, you know, like that, those kind of thing, or just 3 breathing, just like that. You want, you know, if you see like that, you kind of pull your chin like that. So it's just like a very heavy sigh, like that. And then your mind cultivating bodhicitta, then immediately you say, may all motherly sentient beings as fast as space, in order to be brought to the state of perfect and complete Buddhahood, I will contemplate on this precious human birth, like that. And then immediately, then you can go, there's 7-line prayers. After the 7-line prayers, do that line. Disum Sangyatam Jikingo, you know, I pray to the Lama, who is the embodiment of the Buddhas of the 3 times, in that one. Yeah, that one. And then immediately Lama like that. And then at the end, when you're done, close, and then do the dedication is here. You saw the dedication, it appeared on page 94 as the heroic Manjushri realized and Samantha Mandala too. You can do that one.
So also like during the day when we go to work and do some other activities with other people, like, you know, like how would you do the Guru Yoga without people knowing that you're doing it?
Yeah, that one I didn't want to speak today because in the post meditation it is mentioned, oh, now I'm away, you know, like completely forgetting of your mind training, not like that. So you have to be mindful about doing that. And then just think, you know, Guru Rinpoche is there in front, and then you're supplicating to Guru Rinpoche secretly. Even when you're seeing other people, then just think they're the manifestations of Guru Rinpoche, like that, appearing in different forms.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone? Sangipema. Hi, Salina. How are you? Finally, I get to see you. You are in London, yeah? You're in, where are you?
I'm in Ireland, actually.
Oh,
yeah,
Ireland.
in
Oh,
Ireland.
Ireland. Okay. You got the Dakinis text, yeah? You said.
I did indeed. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay, good, yeah. So usually Dakini Chet practice is practiced on the 4th session, meaning the last session. So you do that one too.
Great.
Good. Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, Kempo, it's Kira.
Hi,
So,
Kira.
good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Thank you. And you?
Good. Yeah.
That was great. So, are we meeting at night also?
On Monday, we have 7 p.m. On Wednesday, we have 7 p.m. On Thursday, we have 7 p.m. And then this intensive Ngondro is always 4 to 7 in the morning. And then, yeah.
But
right.
You mentioned Oak Wednesday?
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh, we will regularly meet Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the evening classes. But the intensive Ngondro is every day, 4 to 7.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I know about the Shitro empowerment Garchin's doing this week. Yes, good, I heard.
Yes, wonderful. Yeah,
to do that with him. My only question is, but I ask you later. I can't figure out how to download the bigger document. It wants to download in Google Docs.
Oh.
but I forgot my Google password.
Yeah, let me see that later. Okay, I will send you a link. I shouldn't do that. I think you should be able to download it. Are you trying
Okay.
to download on your like your phone or your computer?
My iPad.
Okay, I think it should be okay. You will find out. Okay.
Okay,
We send
thank
you a link. Okay.
Oh, and the I have Words of My Perfect Teacher. You said we need the commentary. Do I just get that on Amazon? Is that readily available? Because I don't think I have that.
Yeah, you can buy it, like they have bookstores online and you can buy from them. Or
Okay.
yeah, Amazon or
I recommend. That's
yeah, that's the manual. It says no, it says guide to the words of my perfect
yes.
guide. It's a manual of the guide. Yeah.
Which book website do you recommend to find it on?
Amazon or eBay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I noticed on the Kindle edition of the guide, it doesn't have page numbers. So
yeah, that's difficult because I think in the Kindle, what you do is you can enlarge the font size or minimize, so that's why the pages are thrown off. So yeah, I like this like the hard copies because you can bookmark and then
yeah, you can
it's
also
easy
highlight.
to carry around, but like this guides, you always have to go back and forth. So
right.
It's nice.
I agree. I don't like Kindle. I like having a book and underlining and leaving bookmarks in it.
Especially, like practice texts, it's nice. Maybe for other kind of storybooks and so forth, that's okay.
I'm trying to not add more and more books to more and more books to more and more books.
Now you don't need, you only need 2 words of my perfect teacher and then the 7 treasuries. That's all, no more.
I think I have like 3 or 4 copies of Words of My Perfect Teacher, the Indian edition and the U.S. edition, and the upgraded revised edition, and yeah.
I'd like to be added to the. Okay. And those of you who are making the chair for your prostrations, then it is mentioned also that you can have like the precious treasury or the Nyingthig Yavshi, the heart essence, the 4 mother and child heart essences, or any kind of collections of the heart essences. You can have that. So on that one, then that's the support of wisdom speech or the dharma there. Then the picture, the refuge tree, is the support of the wisdom body. And then if you have like Vajra and bell and so forth, you can have those. So, okay. And for those Shito practitioners, they'll have to have Vajra and bell for now. And then Dhammaru too later. This kind of Dhammaru to play. Okay. Anybody else? And also, when you're meditating, have a Zen or a white shawl or red shawl, whatever you have. Like this.
The one that you're wearing?
This is like jigmeling, but yeah, you can have like this too, of course. Why not?
Oh, okay. So you just Google like Zen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tsering has some for sale too. I think she has, I don't know She already sold her. Yeah, you can look for the Ngakpa Zen.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I just bought those from the Tibetan treasure.
Okay.
Yeah,
good,
like
good.
those books. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Lindsay tags.
Yeah, those are nice. Yeah.
The Garden of the Thousand Buddhas has some as well. I'm not sure if you can get that, if they have that on their website.
Yeah, the Garden of Thousand Buddhas, Evam Garden. I think it's called Evam Garden. That's good. So I'm happy you all are practicing. So, you know, this is very good practice. It's a very joyful practice. I always wish that if we had like a retreat settings on where we could take our time off, then it would be even more fun like that.
So we're not doing prostrations yet, Kempo, or we are?
Yeah, we are still on the outer preliminaries. Prostrations will come quite later. So, yeah, when the prostrations come, we'll do prostrations. Longchen Nyingthig Ngondro accumulation, the prostrations are done with the 7 branches, so which is later after the Vajra Sattva and the Mandala Offering. So it's quite some time here.
So I don't need my Dujin Tursar Nundra. Okay.
Yeah, you don't need, for now, yes.
Good afternoon, this is Katie with Temperate Service. How are you?
Okay. Okay, everybody, stay well, take good care, okay? Eat well, stay healthy. Don't be too much concerned about COVID. Your mind has greater power to overcome or to tackle this thing. As long as you have a healthy mind, you create all the chemicals that can counter all these viruses and so forth. So you don't even have to take the vaccine and so. Be well, everybody, okay? Bye-bye now.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Have a
Okay,
good day.
okay, good day. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay. Selena, we'll see you soon, okay? Okay.
Yes, thank you, Kempo.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye, Lindsay. Bye, Jim, Nick. Witnesses, you received my instructions on the prostrations. You do that, okay? Like I told you now, put the precious treasury high above so you don't have to go all the way down. So just gently, you don't even have to go that far. So just make something like a stand high, like a table that high enough, and then just touch your hands and your forehead there later. Right? So it will be some time to when we get to prostrations, but just prepare now. Okay? Okay. Take care. Okay, Chavila, Frederico, and there's somebody else. Okay, bye-bye now. Touch the lake.